Hello everybody, what is up? My name is Sir Medieval, and today we're going to be checking out Total War 3 Kingdoms interview from Gamescom. It happened yesterday, and apparently they had a new gameplay, like ambush battles and whatnot. We're going to be taking a look into the campaign, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get to it. I haven't played Total War in quite a bit, actually since Thrones of Bright and Walder, so just about 2 months or so. But I played Total War as long as I can remember. Rome 2, Rome 1, Medieval Kingdoms, I think it's called Medieval Kingdoms, or Medieval something. Anyway, and Shogun is what I'm reminded of when I look at Three Kingdoms as well. It looks very, very nice, looks very similar, and I hope that it gives us a nostalgia trip and some of the features that we've loved in that game as well. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get to it. Here we go.
And vow to fight Dong Zhuo, and that is where the civil war really begins, and that's where the player comes in and tries to, under the banner that they wield, they come in and they try and unify China.
All right, and you brought the game with you, which is excellent, so we can see some live gameplay. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
All right, so James, I guess you're playing. You got the controls?
I am. I'm going to be driving us through. We got a little campaign flyover at the beginning, kind of setting up the battle, so we'll go with that.
All right, let's start it.
It is a rich and fertile land where harmony once ruled and may yet again.
I love the voice acting already.
The once proud capital of Luoyang lies in ruins. And all along the great Yellow River, a terrible conflict rages. Dong Zhuo, the tyrant who once held China in his iron grip, is beset on all sides.
The level design is fantastic.
A coalition of warlords has formed to defy his rule. The wise Chancellor Cao Cao, the noble Liu Bei, and the great General Sun Jian have
Liu Bei, yes! Okay.
combined forces to thwart him at every turn. However, it is a marriage of convenience. Even now, the cunning Cao Cao looks beyond the fall of Dong Zhuo to his own future conquests. He has planted a spy in the court of his ally, Sun Jian, south of the Yangtze River, and watches for his opportunity to strike. Lady Sun, Sun Jian's noble daughter and one of his finest generals, leads her army in the east. Around her, she feels 1,000 unknown eyes watching. There is a rustling in the trees.
Holy crap.
And a dark secret in the mountains. The trap is set.
Okay, before we begin, I gotta say, wow, so much more intensity in the starting cutscenes than the previous games. It looks like they're actually getting more interactive when it comes to those. Wow, it's looking good. It's looking good.
So,
welcome to...
There's a presentation you are showing behind closed doors, and right now we got the opportunity to see this, even if we are not in the business area. Is that right?
That's correct,
Oh,
yeah.
that's awesome. All right.
So now the battle begins, and we should get a... we'll get a short introduction from the characters who are fighting in the battle. James will be in control of the son and daughter of Shooogunnnn, who was one of the great warlords as part of the coalition. One of his so-called allies is about to spring an ambush on him.
All right.
And the ambush is against the army led by his son and daughter. So we'll see those. They'll be the playable heroes in this battle now.
As far as I know, ambush is pretty difficult because you have no time to set your army up.
That's right, yeah.
Something feels wrong. Shh. There! Movement in the tree line. An ambush is imminent. We must be ready. If we cross the river, we could escape through the southern gates.
This looks really
Or
good.
we could attempt to survive the ambush through force of arms. This hill would make a good defensive position en route, should more forces arrive. Prepare for battle, brother, and may your blade strike true.
That's where the ambush begins. So you can see the enemy forces massing just beyond the tree line there. They are going to come straight through and attack James.
Nice rotation on those troops. Get them in there, come on.
This is what happens.
Yes.
You get caught in column, marching in column by the enemy army, and they're going to be on you just like that. The big difference with how we're doing ambush battles in Total War 3 Kingdoms is that we've now built an extraction point into every ambush map that's generated on the campaign game. So there's a chance of escape, right? If you can soak up some of the enemy army and hold them at bay, maybe you can get your army out, or even just your heroes out to fight another day. And if you play it well, when you go back to the campaign game, maybe you'll have a good-sized army left, and then you can counterattack, and you can even the odds because you'll be facing them in even combat rather than being ambushed and caught marching in column.
Get those cavalry into position. Okay, so it looks like the animations have been changed too for the fighting as well. You're starting to see some. I've seen some instances where they have like kung fu fighting going on. It looks really interesting what they've done with the game, but I can't wait to see more about this one. This one looks like it's going to be really, really good.
Okay, makes sense.
So what James is doing here is he's forming a fairly stout defence with his troops along the line there, performing a classic hammer and anvil tactic here, pinning one unit of infantry with another unit of infantry and using his cavalry to move around the back and smash at the flanks and the rear of the units. And these cavalry are mercenary cavalry. They're very light, they're very fast moving. And even though they're light, because of their speed, because they're very fast moving, they have a great impact. So you'll see loads of guys being knocked over flying. And they have a nice little morale shock effect as well. So you've got an enemy troop pinned into combat. They get hit in the rear by cavalry, and they're going to be, oh no! And
yeah, doesn't look like a pretty effective ambush right there.
Exactly, yeah. But the best is yet to come. So this is only the first of several waves So once if James can survive this first wave and fight these guys off, he's got more in store for him as well.
Ah, okay.
So you can see the two heroes.
Do you see that? Holy crap!
The one on the right is Shooogunnnn, which is Supremacy's daughter. And she is a vanguard. So we have these 5 very specific, very well-defined character classes in Total War 3 Kingdoms. And a vanguard is a warrior-style character, right? They want to get out in front of the army and attack the enemy units, disrupt their formations, and go and duel in hand-to-hand combat and single combat with enemy characters. That's their real strength. And so what James has done is he's actually taken out the first of the enemy generals to appear. And that enemy general was a strategist. And strategists are pretty squishy on the battlefield. They've got very little hit points. They're not designed.
Wasn't much of a strategist there, now was he?
Designed to fight. They're not warriors. They're there to improve the army. They're there to support and unlock new formations for the units in battle on their side.
Oh, okay.
But if a warrior comes up, they can be taken down pretty quickly. So that's their
makes sense, yeah.
They're like a clothy, they're like a spellcaster almost, in an RPG. That's the kind of allegory.
So now he's going to what? Is that a good idea?
So, well, yes, because one of the best defensive positions on the map is directly, now we're in the tactical mode, you can see, if you can get across the river and go southwest there's a big hill. And if he can get his troops up on that, he'll have a tactical advantage because it's always harder for troops to fight uphill.
Yes.
And it's easier, obviously, for troops to fight downhill as well.
Yes.
So taking that point, he's got 4 units of spearmen, 2 regular ones and 2 very elite ones called Azure Dragons. If he can get those guys up on the hill, locked into some nice defensive unit formations, then he'll be able to make a good defense there. And from there, he'll be able to maybe use Shooogunnnn, the vanguard, the warrior, to cycle around and pick her targets and, punch the enemy where it hurts along with her cavalry.
Okay, so James is not going for the exit strategy. He's really here to fight, or what?
Well, as you can see, the symbol at the back of the field there, straight ahead, that is the exit point.
The exit, yeah, I see that.
And unfortunately, there's an enemy force blocking it, and they're coming from the exit point towards us. So we've got to deal with those guys. However, you can just see peeking through the distance now, we've got a 3rd wave of attackers coming in, and these guys are going to try and sandwich us. So James has a tough fight on his hands because he's now going to be attacked from 2 fronts. So he's got a choice whether to. Oh, that was Shooogunnnn using her special ability called Heartseeker. It's a sort of power.
I'm loving the skill system they got going on here. It looks like they've added way more depth to the champion characters. They're not just, units on the battlefield that just take out people left and right. They actually have skills, like skills that matter, it looks like. Kind of like what they were introducing in Total War Warhammer. Almost forgot about Warhammer. Wow. But it looks nice. I like the UI design. The way they have the units formed up down here in the bottom left is looking pretty good as well. it's looking a lot better, a lot less clutter on the UI in general as well, too. Wow.
Powerful bow skill.
Okay.
I managed to miss it as well, so that's not great.
Yeah,
you didn't see that.
It's never a guaranteed hit, especially if they're far away and they're moving.
Yeah, sure. But I guess he's got another chance.
Exactly. He gets 2 more shots with that weapon.
All right.
It's a finite amount. But she also has an AoE attack as well, right, James?
She does indeed. Flame of the Phoenix. You need to get in there, get close combat, but it's really, really powerful.
They get the rotation going. They're coming. They're coming.
I'm just going to put my formations together. I've got square formations here.
Looks very similar to what
that's
you're doing.
nice. But
in formation.
Oh, they're gonna smash you, dude.
Because he's got, you know, he's got defense from all sides with those circle and square formations. They've got defense from every angle. So even if you're hit at the front and the rear of the unit, you're still facing out.
Oh God, here it comes.
You're still fighting with your best capabilities on either side.
These are pretty crazy formations. Are these new, or have we seen this before in Total War
Yeah,
series?
I think circle's a new formation for us, isn't it?
I haven't seen that.
Games.
I don't think
Can we
so.
have a look at this new formation up close for a moment?
Yeah, getting close.
Actually, no. We've
Never
seen circle.
Before. This is historically correct, those circle formations?
Yeah, they use circle formations.
We've seen those with spearmen.
Formation as well, which the Azure Dragons, which is the elite spear units he has, very heavy, very slow moving, but they're super well armored. And they also carry a bow as well as their spear. So you can switch them from melee attack to ranged attack. And there's actually a mixed formation where they'll have spear on the front line, poking out, and behind you've got the range guys as well. So you get the best of both worlds. It's a really useful kind of dual role unit.
Except from they got completely attacked in the rear, and it didn't really go the way I wanted. But other than that, pretend you didn't see it.
So it looks like
take him out of that formation now.
It looks like James's principal general Shooogunnnn there. She's dueling now with one of the enemy heroes.
Holy crap!
And
this looks
it
amazing.
Looks like she's winning at the moment.
Yes.
You can just see the balance of power bar. You can see his health is going down. So she's taking him down piece at a time.
Okay, but this is a duel of honor. Nobody is supposed to help, right?
Exactly. So your units, enemy units, will move around them. They will keep away from them and let these guys fight, right?
That's amazing. What?
You can tell them to attack, but that would be incredibly dishonorable. So you get a major morale negative for doing that.
Interesting. All right.
So there's a penalty for doing that.
Okay.
Yeah?
Are you serious? What?
Because, you know, you're dishonoring your leader from their glorious victory against this famous legendary hero. So.
Oh my God.
But yeah, with dueling like this, it has kind of multiple uses. It's great for locking down an enemy unit and maybe taking out the battle so it can't support its army against your army. It's a great way for, you know, taking down a rival as well, taking down a rival character. But it's, you know, you have to plan for these things.
It's risky as heck. Risky.
There, she uses her Heartseeker ability against this character here, and that's taken a chunk of health off him already, so it's good preparation for the fight to come, for the single combat.
And can a warrior with a strategist? Is that possible?
Yes, it is. You can always refuse a duel, though. So if you've got a strategist and you are challenged by a powerful warrior, it's probably not a good idea to go into that.
You should decline.
Yeah, you should decline. Yeah. But this guy, big two-handed axe, he's powerful. But
some pretty awesome animations.
Dang, that is awesome.
I've not seen that one before, by the way.
I'm not sure I have.
They have really improved in the fighting animations. That was amazing. Like, holy crap. Wow. Looking good.
After that one.
That's fantastic. So, yeah, when these guys go into single combat, we've motion captured Wushu martial arts combat, and these guys go in and they roll through all these matched animations, and you'll see that happen. And it's like a microcosm for the battle as a whole. Right at the center of it, you've got the ultimate struggle between two legendary characters.
Okay.
As the war rages on around them, you know. So that was a thing we really wanted to bring across from the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. You know, this incredible novel written in the 14th century that brought history to life in a way that nobody had ever done before. And it's a cornerstone of Southeast Asian culture. You know, it's amazing.
This is phenomenal.
So how's it going, James?
I think I have this under control.
Oh, you got this, bud.
I mean, if you the trick in this is because your generals are tied to retinues down here. The troops follow them. If you can kill the leader of that retinue, they start falling apart. So it's all about kind of taking out the leader and then chain routing the rest of the troops from there.
Cutting the head off the snake,
exactly.
as it were.
Yes.
And I think that will be the end of these guys.
Yeah.
These guys have been in circle formation the entire battle.
Can we get right in and have a look at them?
Yeah, I did literally just click off it though, but there you go.
Oh, they're going to break up now.
No, they're back in there. There you go.
But that's great. I mean, you can plop your strategist, your squishy hero character right in the centre there.
middle, yeah.
Yeah, you
and
could,
protect
yeah.
From the rest of the fight.
That is
Whereas
really
you know,
good.
Granting abilities to other units and stuff.
Okay.
So, actually, Shooogunnn's brother,
And I wasn't going to say anything, man, but yeah, you did have your units in formation for a while there. My God.
Xuan, which
Just
is
kidding.
the guy right on screen now. He's about to... Look at that. They
Oh, that's nice.
he's a commander. That's his specific character class.
Victory.
Oh, thank you.
And they, he's talking to you, James.
I know,
He's talking to you, man.
It's my first time playing the demo, so, you know.
Still got tons of bodies
the
piling
battle's
up on the
won, is that
battlefield.
correct?
Tons of bodies piling up on the battlefield still. Looks very nice. The fire effects look great. The nighttime, I can see the fog. Even the fog looks really nice. Looks like it's a completely different game again. They've been really going places with the Total War series, and can't wait to see what this one's going to be like. I think it's going to be nice. Very, very nice.
That's right, yeah.
We have one.
Yep. So now, in the context of a campaign game, for example, you would go back to the campaign game, and James would have beaten that ambush, that enemy army would be destroyed or severely weakened and run away, and James would then control that area, and in this particular situation, he's got a sizable part of his army left, so he's got great local superiority.
All right. So are we going to see the campaign map right now, or is this not part of this demo?
No, it's not part of the demo, unfortunately. We saw that fly around at the start that kind of set up the story for the campaign. One of the big features we've been talking about in the campaign game over the last few days at Gamescom is how we're building all these extra facets into characters, how they can build relationships amongst themselves. So these two, for example, they're brother and sister. They have a strong bond. So when they go into battle together, they buff each other. They get extra armor. They get extra morale.
That is
as well.
nice. Yes.
This is something that can happen if you have two warriors that fight in the same battles again and again in your army. They may start building a great bond of friendship between them, right?
Ah, okay.
So they go into battle and they just both fight better because they've got their buddy at their side, you know. But if you don't play your cards right, then that can actually work against you. So in the campaign game, our characters now have their own drives, their own personalities, which you discover over time. You can't change the things that they like and dislike in the world, right?
Okay.
So you don't... The characters are no longer these tools that you skill up and give abilities to and have 100% control over. These guys have drives of their own, right? So if you get a character in your faction, maybe he's a great warrior, and you're playing a very diplomatic game in the campaign game at this time. You're not really going into any wars or anything. Maybe he starts getting dissatisfied with you because of that. You know, he might start quite loyal to you, but he's like, you've got to send me out to fight. I'm not happy with this. You can't waste my talents. I'm sitting around doing nothing.
And what happens then if he's dissatisfied?
He's dissatisfied. He may get so dissatisfied that he leaves your faction and joins a more warlike faction,
what a dick.
which might be your enemy. Yeah, what a dick.
I don't think so, Jim.
Dick, right?
I don't think so.
If he's really good friends with another character, like brotherhood friends, he might take his friend with him. His friend might go, yeah, you know what, I'm going too. See you later. I'm going to... And then two of your most powerful warriors have joined your enemy. So you've got to watch what's happening. You've got to try and manage your characters and keep them happy, right? So.
Okay.
My God, I don't think so on that one.
All the formations available?
So James has lined a whole bunch up here. We've got the circle. We've got the hollow circle. The sort of arrowhead formation there.
What's this one good for?
The square here.
Yeah.
That's great for defending against. Well, pretty much everything actually, because it's circular. Well, not circular. It's got defense on all sides, but it means you can stack units next to each other. So you've got all-round defense.
And what's the difference to the circle formation?
Because with circle formation, if you put circles together, they don't quite meet, of course. Circle formation is great in isolation, but if you've got a whole bunch of units together, all their flanks will be protected by the other units, and they've got this locked formation at the front. Have you got the pike and shot formation set up there?
No, because all my units of that are dead.
Ah, your dragons are down.
They're running away.
Rest in peace.
No.
Rest in
That
peace.
formation, their cavalry got behind me, and it went south from there.
So those are the guys I was telling you about that do the mixed role formation with the bows and the spears.
Yeah, the really hard ones that running away right now.
Basically,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, we can,
Even if you've won the battle, they didn't realize, right?
No,
they're not happy about it.
They turned tail. They went chicken and turned tail.
They didn't have a good game. I didn't reuse them to the full effect.
All right. So when are we going to see
Alright, I think that's enough of the gameplay. So it looks like the Total War series as a whole is really going places, really going places. And they look like this game might be turning out to be quite the game, actually. I think that the formations look really nice. I think we've seen those before, though, in terms of like the spear circular formation and whatnot. I'm pretty sure we've seen those in other games too, like with the pikemen, for instance, and spearmen. But in the combat, it looks like they've improved on a lot. It looks like the units aren't just like swarming anymore, like, you know, just diving in there and just like walking around like idiots kind of thing, like you would see in Total War Warhammer, for instance. It looks like they're actually engaging in combat with each other, which I know that could be really hard to do, but it looks like they're definitely doing that now. And it looks like the dueling system, that is going to be really nice as well. That's going to add some very nice depth into the game. Of course, what we want to hope for too is that, and I think they've been improving on this the last few years, is that when you go through the campaign map, right, and you have like your difficulty set to legendary, for instance, and enemies will just start spewing out, like they just essentially start cheating. That part, you know, always sucks, but hopefully they'll have some kind of way to add that difficulty without having, you know, that kind of thing happen. I think it was a big problem in games like Attila. I miss Attila sometimes, and even like Warhammer 2. But we'll see what happens with this one. But so far, it's looking very nice. Graphically wise, I can definitely say that it looks absolutely fantastic on this one, especially the campaign map too. Whew. Look at that campaign map. I really hope that the map is big enough to sustain players for like at least 300, 400 turns, that kind of thing, and beyond. Because if so, this would be a huge freaking success. Without further ado, folks, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful night or day, and I will see you next time. Thanks for joining me. Later, folks.
The Empire, long divided, must unite. A great dynasty burns, and tyrants rule over the ashes. As the light dims, shadows grow ever darker. Ambition corrupts the future, and harmony shatters in the flames of turmoil. Yet from the cinders, the powerful and righteous emerge. The Empire, long united, must divide, and destiny be shaped by its champions.